Hey, fifth graders, hope you're doing okay. Today we're going to do a lesson on reviewing adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing fractions. All right, we're going to start with a fraction 4/5. And we're going to add 2/3 to it. We're going to compare that to subtracting, and we're going to use the same 4/5, but we're going to take away 2/3 from it. Now, whenever you see that it's adding and subtracting fractions, the first question you should ask yourself is, are the denominators the same? Now, in this question right here, are the denominators the same?
No.
Good. If you also said no, you are correct. They aren't the same. Then we ask ourselves, to make the problem easier, is can we multiply the smaller number by a number to get the 5?
Yes.
And that is incorrect. If you said yes, you are wrong. So no, we can't multiply 3 by something to get 5. So therefore, we're going to have to find a common denominator of 5 and 3. What does that mean? That means what number is in the 5's times tables and also the 3's times tables. Now, one easy way to do this is you can always just multiply the two denominators together. And in this case, that does create the smallest common denominator for 5 and 3. But we can't just change that 5 to 15 and that 3 to 15. All right, if you're going to manipulate the fraction and change it to a new equivalent fraction, you're going to have to deal with the numerator as well. So what do we change that numerator to? Well, it determined by what did we multiply by the 5 to make the 15. So what did we do? What did we multiply by 5 to make 15? 3. If you also thought 3, give yourself a pat on the back. You are correct. So, since we multiplied the 5 by 3, what do we also have to multiply by 3?
The 4.
The 4, which is the numerator of our fraction. And that ends up making 12. Now, 4/5 and 12/15 are equivalent fractions of each other. We did not change these fractions. We just renamed them. So we have to do the same thing with 2/3. What could we change 2/3 to that has a denominator of 15 and that it's the same value? It would equal the same amount. So how do we do that? Again, we do the same thing we did over here. What did we multiply by 3 to make that 15?
5.
Well done, everyone. You guys are all doing amazing. If you out there said 5 as well, yay! I think my daughter may need to leave this lesson. So 2 times 5 is 10. Our numerator is 10. We've now created 12/15 plus 10/15. Now the rule for adding and subtracting fractions is that if the denominator is already the same, you add the numerators and the denominator stays the same. So that's why you have to make the denominators the same if they're not already. So we do 12 plus 10, which gives us 22. And we don't have to do much thinking here. That denominator is 15. We do come across a problem here because we cannot say 22/15 is the answer. That is called an improper fraction. All right, we don't like improper fractions. All right, they're hard to determine what their value is. We don't like leaving answers in that form right there. So we change it to what's called a mixed number. Another way to write number for us old people out there is that symbol right there. For you young people, you think it means hashtag. All right, so how do we change that improper fraction to a mixed number? What we do is we ask ourselves, how many times does that denominator go into that numerator? And 15 times 2 is 30, so that would be way too big. So 15 goes into 22 one time. How many left over? We call that the remainder. All right, 22 take away 15, or the difference between 22 and 15 is 7. And this lovely denominator thing again, what does it do? It stays the same. And we finally have an answer of 1 7/15. Let's go down to the subtraction problem. All right, we have the same fractions, so we're going to have the same equivalent fractions. If you forgot how we made 12/15, just rewind this and watch what I've already said again. So we have our 12/15ths take away our 10/15ths. Remember, those are equivalent fractions for our 4/5, take away our 2/3. Now we have the nice easy job of 12 take away 10, which is 2. And again, that denominator stays the same. This is a great fraction because this is called a proper fraction. It also can't be simplified. There is no number that can be divided by 2 and 15. Therefore, we are done. 2/15 is our answer. All right, we are actually halfway done with this lesson. We still have multiplying fractions. We are still going to use the same fraction of 4/5, but this time we're going to multiply it by 2/3. Now, multiplying fractions is what I like to think of as easy. Do you know why it's easy? Because you get to do exactly what it says. You do not find common denominators. You don't have to do anything but multiply those numerators and multiply those denominators. And the answer is 4 times 2 is 8, and 5 times 3 is 15. This is an awesome fraction as well because it is a proper fraction. Now we always have to ask ourselves, can it be simplified? 8 and 15, is there a number that can be divided by both 8 and 15 evenly? No, there's not. We are done. The answer is 8/15. Now, my fun one. Love this one. Let's get a different color. Let's get red. 4/5 times, sorry, we are not doing times because we just did that. Let's make that into a big division symbol. There we go. Isn't that fun? All right. Yes, math is fun, kiddos out there. Don't ever think it's not. All right. We have 4/5 divided by 2/3. All right, wait for it. Come on, all of you out there that have actually listened to my lessons in the past are already knowing what I'm about to say. And I'm about to say, when you see that you are dividing fractions, you think of
KFC.
F, C. All right. Do I actually mean Kentucky Fried Chicken?
No.
Sure made me hungry, though. All right. No, what I mean by KFC is keep, flip, change. All right, what in the heck does keep, flip, change means? It means you go back to that fraction and you actually get to keep the first fraction. That 4/5 just is kept. It stayed the same. You just rewrite it. Might need to zoom in. I'm running out of paper. All right, the flip part means that you do the reciprocal of 2/3. Reciprocal means you swap numerator for denominator. So the 3 becomes the numerator and the 2 becomes the denominator. And the change part is you get to change that division to the nice easy times. And then we have 4 times 3, which is 12, and 5 times 2, which is 10. Uh-oh, we do have an improper fraction. So how many times does 10 go into 12? 1 time, 2 left over, and the denominator stays a 10. We still have a problem with this one though, because we haven't had to simplify anything yet. Here we have the 2/10 can be simplified, and that simplifies down to 1 and 1/5. How did I do that? Both of those could be divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 made that 1, and 10 divided by 2 made that 5. And our final answer was 1 and 1/5. All right, kiddos out there, that's a nice, lovely revision on adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing fractions. Keep practicing, and I'll talk to you later.